Retro Quickies, 720 degrees.
If there's one thing that the NES seemed to struggle a lot with in terms of genre, it would probably be extreme sports games. There are quite a few of them on the system, most of which are rather awkward to control given the limited directions one can move with an NES controller. 720 Degrees, a port of the arcade game by Atari Games, sees you playing an extreme skater hopeful as you skate around town competing in different events in hopes of getting yourself gold medals in each. After you complete an event, you can use the prize money you get if you perform well to purchase better gear from the stores around town, but only one piece of equipment per store. After you finish all 4 competitions, regardless of whether you qualify or not, you'll move on to the next difficulty stage, where the events are even tougher, the gear more expensive, and the odds of you getting killed via killer bees grows more and more assured every time. So let's back up a second and take this step by step. When you start the game, you're in a hub town and have to skate around. While you're skating, you can bail pretty easily if you run into or over anything. But thankfully, all that does is waste your time. You'll always want to do a bunch of jumping, for reasons I'll get into in a second. If you spend too much time rolling around, eventually you'll get a message telling you to skate or die, because a swarm of killer bees is coming for you. The bees start out at a manageable speed, but eventually they will get so fast that you just can't avoid them and they will hit you and take away one of your lives. Lose all of your lives and it's game over. However, unlike its arcade counterpart, this game has infinite continues, so you can start again from the stage you were on and you don't even have to redo the competitions you've done before. But you also lose any and all gear you've bought, which is a bit of a problem. In order to enter a competition, you have to have a pass. You start out with a few passes, and you get a free pass whenever you continue. And you earn new passes if you beat a competition with a high enough score. Odds are, though, you aren't going to be that lucky, meaning you'll be going through a lot of the game with the bare minimum. If you can't qualify and don't want to get a game over, you can earn passes by doing tricks in the hub. Really, the safest way to do that is just doing kickflips and ollies over and over again until you hit the point threshold for a new pass. Odds are good by the time you hit those thresholds, especially on later maps, you'll have lost a life or two to the killer bees. But hey, now that you have the passes, you can actually enter the competitions, so let's take a look at those. There are 4 different competitions to join, and once you finish the last one, you'll be sent up to the next difficulty level. First is Downhill, where your job is to get to the bottom of the course as quick as possible. This is one of the more playable competitions, though it is very difficult to keep from bailing anytime you have to make a jump, which is pretty damn frequent, especially in areas where you have to drop down onto an incline that's at a different angle. That takes some practice. Then there's Slalom, which is a lot like Downhill, except with less jumps and obstacles, and more just making sure you get through all the checkpoints on your way to the goal. This was by far the easiest out of all the competitions, and the one that you're probably going to qualify in the most. After that is Jump, where you have a series of ramps you fly off of to try and hit a diamond-shaped bullseye target that is, more often than not, off-screen. There are tells on each ramp that give you an idea of where to land, but when you aren't familiar with that fact, this is a pretty tough one to qualify for. And finally, there is Ramp, where you... I don't know what you do. Seriously, I get the idea. You build up speed in order to perform flashy tricks off of each side of the ramp, but I was never able to get this game to work properly, no matter what I tried. And it isn't like there are a lot of buttons or button combinations to try. Every now and then I did manage to do a spin or a handstand, but those aren't worth a lot of points and I'd usually bail on the handstand because I didn't understand how to disengage without falling over. I know that it's possible. I've seen footage of other people playing and pulling off tricks, though even the people who know what they're doing don't seem able to get it consistently. And that's about all there is to this game. Like I said, you can use the prize money that you get to purchase upgrades to help you in various ways, like better boards giving you a higher top speed, pads letting you recover quicker from wiping, and so forth, but it's still easy to screw up even with these upgrades, and once your game is over, you lose them all, and losing them later on makes it hard to build up the funds to get them back. There's also not any ending to this game, not that there was any sort of story to begin with. After completing the 4th and final area, the game just loops back infinitely on that difficulty level until you get tired of playing and quit. So really, it's just about seeing how long you can go and how high a score you can get, though this also means playing through the exact same challenges on this difficulty over and over again, showing off its more arcade roots. The game doesn't look terrible, though it is a pretty boring color palette. Most of the color selections are in the challenges outside of ramp, and while the colors do change with the difficulty, most of the towns and characters you see are either one or two solid colors without a lot of pattern variation. The sprites are impressively large though, and I do like the emoji-esque faces your avatar makes after you finish a challenge. Some of the bailing animations are also pretty funny, at least the first time you see them. Not so much after the 10th time. As for the soundtrack, well, there's more variety than I was expecting personally. There are only 4 tracks in the game, but they're all around 3 minutes long, and while they don't have a large variety in terms of their instrumentation, there's enough variation that it kinda caught me off guard given how simple this game is. The title track is a standout when it actually starts to get going. I rather like that one. And the one used for the downhill event is pretty nice too. I feel like it'd be more at home in a detective game for some reason though. The ramp and town music, however, I just find more annoying than anything, and the victory tune that plays after the events and stage completion is alright as well. None are what I'd call classic tunes for the system, but given its nature as a port of an extreme sports arcade game, I think the music is alright. That's kind of how I'd portray the game itself, honestly. It's alright. It's definitely clunky, but the lack of any real penalty for losing makes it something that you can pop in and have a casually silly time for like 30 minutes before you move on to something else. I can't recommend it as something to play seriously, but it's a decent time if you're looking for something you aren't planning to actually be amazing at and just want a silly little game. Besides, this one doesn't hold much of a candle to some of the other skating games on the NES, and all of those are pretty dang janky too, come to think of it.